Vandeham Sri Guru Siddhita Padakamalang Shri Gudan Vaishnavangsha Sri Rupam Shagarajatam Shahaganaraganatam Idang Tang Shajibam Shadvaitam Shabadutam Parijanashaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Shibhishagang Idang Shah Mantra Guru Jota Shikha Guru Ganta Charine Age Goriya Bandhan Mancha Kalpatrubhyashta Kripa Shandabhavacha Patitanam Pabanebo Vaishnaveva Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Shri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Bhajahude Mana Sri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Chadana Dabindade Bhajahude Mana Sri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Chadana Dabindade Abhaya Chadana Dabindade Dulabha Manabha Janama Shat Shange Dulabha Manabha Janama Shat Shange Tado E Bhava Shindude Bhajahude Manam Sri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Chadana Dabindade Abhaya Chadana Dabindade Sita Atapa Bhata Bodhishana E Dina Jamini Jagire Sita Atapa Bhata Bodhishana E Dina Jamini Jagide Vipala Sevinu Kripana Durjana People say Binu Kripana Durjana Chapal Shukalaba Lagide Bhajahude Mana Sri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Chadanada Bindade Abhaya Chadanada Bindade Hey Dana Yobana Putra Porijana Itege Achepada Titide Edana Yobana Putra Porijana Itege Achepada Titide Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala Bhajau Hodi Poda Nitide Bhajahude Mana Sri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Chadanada Bindode Shravana Kirtanam Shmarana Bandhanam Pada Shevana Dashare Sravana Kirtana Shmarana Bandhana Pada Sevana Dashare Pujana Shaki Jana Atma Nibedana Pujana Shaki Jana Atma Nibedana Govinda Dash Obilashare Bhajahude Mana Sri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Chadanada Bindade Abhaya Chadanada Bindade Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jai Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare. Jai Nitai Gauranga, Jai Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramhamsa, Paribhrachakacharya, Jashtadara Sarasrashamachala, Abhay Charanara, Binda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON Pratishthat Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Sri Nitai Gaur Shitanath Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Mukam Karati Bhachalam Pangam Langait Egadim Jat Krapata Mahamande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. Our topic today is the repeated expression of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desiring to go to Vrindavan. We'll hear about this, how this repeatedly appears in the behavior of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and its relevance for us. Hare Krishna. Now, at the time of initiation in Gaya Dham. One time I was there with Narottam Priya and Chaitanya Avatar. Yes, we were there. Gaya Dham. Many years ago. Yeah. So Mahaprabhu, he went to Gaya to perform the Shraddha ceremony for Jagannath Mishra. Jagannath Mishra passed away. Mahaprabhu went to Gaya Dham. Up to that time he was engaged in a Biddo Lila. Just like we know in Braj, Shamsundar, Nanda Dulal, he enjoys with Balaram and the cowherd boys and the calves. We don't hear him giving the lectures on the Bhagavat Tattva in Vrindavan. In fact, in Vrindavan, the devotees, they don't even consider Krishna God. They don't consider Krishna God. We'll discuss a little more on Janmashtami Day. Gokule kebo roti arshadjagyan heen, puri dvare, Vaikunt adde arshadjagyan praveen. Puri dvare, in the two puris, Mathura Puri, Dwarka Puri, arshadjagyan praveen. Everyone, the devotees, they worship Krishna as God. Puri, Dwarka, Mathura. Gokule kebo roti arshadjagyan heen. In Gokul, Vrindavan, there's no understanding that Krishna is God. So similarly, Krishna is performing the Braja Leela. He's enjoying Param Purushotam. Param Purushotam, the supreme enjoyer. Param Purushotam, he's enjoying. It's not that he's stuck in the village and he wants to go to the city and get a job. He's enjoying. He could appear anywhere. In such a beautiful, the waterfalls, the Braja forest, the Bhajayanti flowers, the cuckoo birds, the water, Jamuna, the playground, transcendental playground. So in the same way as Krishna, he enjoys in Braj, so Sachikumar, he enjoys in Navadip in the Biddo Lila. In Braj, he's a cowherd boy. Borsha, cowherd boy. In the farm, the cows, Gobur, and farming. In Navadip, he's a scholar. He's similarly enjoying, but a different dress, different character, scholar. Sarva Navadipe, Prati Nogode Nogode, Shishigon Shange, Viddarosh Krida Kode. Sarva Navadipe, Prati Nogode Nogode, in every center of social gatherings, Prati Nogode Nogode, Shishigon Shange, with his students, Viddarosh Krida Kode, enjoying the mellow of learning. Sarva Navadipe, Sharbalo Koilo, Dhoni, Nimai Pandit, Oddapak Shiromani. There is no professor like Nimai Pandit, Oddapak Shiromani. Sarva Navadipe, Sharbalo Koilo, Dhoni. All you could hear from the lips of the residents of Navadip was that Nimai Pandit is the crash jewel of all the scholars. He's enjoying scholarship. And then in Gaya Dham, he met Ishwar Puri, and first seeing the lotus feet of Sri Madhusudan in Gaya, the two lotus feet were worshipped. Mahaprabhu demonstrated the prema, the prema bhakti, love of God. He began demonstrating first time. It's a Leela, he's God, he's Krishna, but he began demonstrating the symptoms of loving God in Gaya. And then he was initiated by Ishwar Puri Prabhupada, and taking the mantra, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, initiation. And he also received the Gayatri mantra, 10-syllable Krishna mantra, confidential mantra. And then chanting the mantra, he experiencing love of God. Kiba mantra dilo goshai, kibatar bol, jopadi mantra, karele pago. He returned to Ishwar. Kiba mantra dilo, what mantra have you given? Swamiji, Kiba mantra dilo goshai, kibatar bol, what is its power? Jopadi mantra, karele pagal. Chanting the mantra became crazy. And Mahaprabhu, he began to demonstrate the extreme symptoms of love of Godhead in Gaya at that time. And actually, in the middle of the night, he was so overwhelmed that he ran out of the room. He couldn't lie down, he couldn't sit, he couldn't do anything. He ran out of the room in search of Vrindavan. He ran out in search of Vrindavan. He ran. And he was going some distance, and then he heard a voice in the sky. A voice in the sky. It's called the Divyabani, a voice in the sky. How often you get directions from a voice in the sky? There's a special way to get instructions. There's a voice in the sky. Kote din joite shunin Divyabani ekon mathura na joibo dijamani. You heard the voice in the sky. Koto dure jaita. He'd gone some distance in the middle of the night, running. Where is Vrindavan? Koto dur jaite. Divyabani, Shunen Divyabani, he heard the sound from the sky. Divyabani. Ekon mathura na jaibo dvijamani. Hey Dvijamani, crash jeweler that Brahmins of Navadip. Ekon mathura na jaibe. Now you will not go to Mathura. Now you will not go. So Mahaprabhu was astonished. Could you imagine? You hear the voice. You're taking the journey now, or you cannot take the journey. He was astonished. And they said that actually we are your servants and we've come to remind you that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's amazing. He's overwhelmed in love of Godhead. He forgot, he is that Krishna. He's Vrindavan, Radha Krishna, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahayanna. But he's forgot, he's completely in the mood of devotee, completely so much that he's mad. And he's racing off to Vrindavan. And the voice said, no, you cannot go to Vrindavan now. You have to do so many things. You have to establish the Sankirtan movement. Kali Juge, Juga Dharma, Name Prochar, Toti Lage Pita Bono, Chaitanya Avatar. I think every time I'm in Attapur, Hyderabad, I chant that verse. I can't resist. Kali Juga Dharma, Name Prochar. The Dharma for the Kali Yuga is chanting the holy name, Name Prochar. Toti Lagi, for that reason, Pita Barna, in the yellow color, Chaitanya Avatar. He appears, Chaitanya Avatar. So there's so many things. He cannot just go to Vrindavan now. He had to go back to the Panchatattva not established. Nityananda Prabhu not in Navadvip then. He's in Vrindavan. Nityananda Prabhu not in Navadvip. Advaita Acharya in Shantipur. And first he begins revealing himself first to Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur. What is that? Ade Dakiya Boliya Prabhu Ade Srinivas Otodin na jane ama prakash. Hey Srinivas, what's wrong with you? For so Otodin na jane ama prakash. You couldn't recognize me for so many years. He's showing his Chaturbhuj form to Srivas Thakur, chastising, why you didn't recognize me? He's covering himself to perform the lila. Even in the dream one time, an effulgent Brahmin said to Jagannath Mishra that you shouldn't correct your son. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He doesn't require chastisement or correction from you. In the dream, imagine a dream like that. First we have Akash Valley and then you have dreams like that. Jagannath Mishra in the dream, he replied, Mishra kohe, Deb shiti muni keni noi, jai she borohok matra amantanoi. Yes, Deb sit Muni, he may be a great Rishi, Muni, Shidhi, a perfect being. Dev, demigod, even the Supreme God. Jai se borohok, no matter how big and important he is, matro amar tanai, but he's still my son. And I have to give him education. Who will correct him? So they don't know it. They don't think he's the same as Vrindavan. They don't think Krishna is God. They don't think Nimai is God. So he returns to Vrindavan. He returns to Mayapur at that time, and so many important things are established. The Panchatattva assemble. Nityananda Prabhu arrives. Last is Advaita Thakur. He comes from Shantipur. And there's a very nice leelas. It's a whole, we could spend days and days describing Mahaprabhu, bringing the Panchatattva. Maybe on another occasion we can discuss in the holy Tirtha Sthana of ISKCON Attapur, another time. And then Mahaprabhu, he performs the Navadip Leela, the devotees performing Sankirtan. He inaugurates the mission of preaching. Nityananda Prabhu, Haridas Shunu Shunu Nityananda Shunu Haridas. Shabatra Amaraga Ikoroho Prakash Prati Gore Gore Giye Koro Ipika Bolo Krishna Bhaja Krishna Koro Krishna Shikha. Up to this point, the association was confidential in the house of Srivas Thakur, closed doors. And then Mahaprabhu, he expanded the activities to involve the preaching. Prati ghore ghore giye, go to every house. Prati ghore ghore giye, koro epika. And you beg, Bolo Krishna, bhaja Krishna, koro Krishna shika. Chant Hare Krishna, worship Krishna, follow Krishna's instructions. Up to this point, there was no formal systematic propagation of the Sankirtan movement. It was simply Mahaprabhu and Gauranga Shongigon, his antaranga, his internal associates, were performing nocturnal kirtan, in the house of Srivas Thakur, and relishing. We were discussing yesterday in the Baladev Purnima that the Leelas, the Vrindavan pastimes would manifest in the kirtan, the dancing, and in the kirtan, the Braja Leela would manifest. And Lord Balaram is there with the plough, and he's chastising Jamuna. In the kirtan, they're seeing the Braja Leelas, they're manifesting. Confidential. Not everyone, this is not for the public. This is very esoteric kirtans. It's not for the public. Well, what can I say? We go on the Sankirtan. You're going to Sankirtan? They're going Sankirtan? Sometime we will go on the Sankirtan. It's very special on the street, dancing on the street. For me, the highlight in my spiritual life, annually, the highlight is Kolkata Rath Yatra. And then when we actually, it's the Ultarot, when you bring Lord Jagannath back. And then we come from the Maidan, the Central Park, in the center of Kolkata, a huge park. The British, they did some good things. They made beautiful parks in Kolkata. And one-way streets. In Kolkata, morning time, the traffic goes one way, afternoon it goes the other way. Do you know that? So many one-way streets. So the traffic is not such a bad traffic jam as in Delhi and places. One way. So then you come out of there, there's Chowdhury, there's the Dharamtala, there's a bus stand there, there's the big grand hotel, there's the center of Kolkata, the main intersection, Dharamtala. There's 4 roads come. The whole of Bengal converges on that intersection. It's so busy. It's the busiest. There's always jam-packed traffic, horns. And then Rath Yatra, Lord Jagannath comes cruising through and everything all blocked off. All the roads, they're all blocked off, and Lord Jagannath, the three chariots, Lord Jagannath cruises through and takes some time coming around the corner there, and then we're dancing in the middle of the intersection, and they're dancing. And for me, that's the topmost, that's the highlight of my spiritual life, to dance in that intersection. All the police are there, they're holding the traffic off just for me to dance. And the Rath Yatra, what can I say? The Rath Yatra, sometimes in the dancing and Rath Yatra also, sometimes we're demonstrating the confidential symptoms. Who cares? In the Rath Yatra, the temple has come onto the street. It's like the temple dancing on the street. You can do Rath Yatra. Who cares? Rath Yatra. Many hours dancing. We heard Lokanath Swami Maharaj, he was invited Kolkata Rath Yatra, and he said, only if I'm allowed to do kirtan for 6 or 7 hours non-stop. So the kirtan in the temple, it's a little different to the kirtan on the street. A little different on the kirtan on the street. So Mahaprabhu, he moved the movement out of the house of Srivas Thakur and he moved it into the public. And then that was the beginning of the public Sankirtan. And that preaching and Radha Krishna, Eshikaniya Shab Nadi Fiche Neche Gaunitai, Radha Krishna Bol Bodade Shaba, Eshikaniya Shab Nadiya, Fiche Neche, Fiche is wandering, Neche dancing. And we're worshipping Gaunitai. Just in this mood, this phrase, this song, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is the way we're worshipping Gaunitai. Eshikaniya Shab Nadiya Fiche Neche Gaunitai. This is the mood we're worshipping. The dancing, and in Nadia, and they dress so beautifully, and they're dancing in the Harinam, and in this way. Udilo Orduna Puraba Bhage, Dujamani Gauda Amane Jage in the morning gets up, Bhakata Shamoha, taking the devotees, Bhakata Shama Laila Shate, Gelo Nogoda Braje, he goes out into the streets, into the village every morning, the kirtan, just like this. And this is the preaching in Navadip. Preaching, Mahaprabhu's preaching style in Navadip. After taking sannyas, we see a big list of big high-profile personalities Mahaprabhu preaches to. It's a different style. In Navadvip, it's just village to village, and the holy name. But he takes sannyas, and you see a big list of prominent personalities, one after another. Mahaprabhu conquers, beginning with the guru of the king of Puri, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and then the governor of Madras, Ramananda Roy, and then all of the leaders of the temples in South India, the Tattvavadis, Byenkat Bhatta, who we hear he was the head pujari, Byenkat Bhatta, in Sri Rangam. One after another, the prominent personalities in the society. Chakvartunam Ashesha Mandalapati Shrenim. They were the Rupa and Sanatan, they were the Mandalapati, they were leaders in the society. They were leaders of the Kingdom of Bengal. The finance minister, the home minister, very, very big prominent personalities. One after another you see Mahaprabhu having taken sannyas. So the different styles. Why he took sannyas? Because it draws the attention of all of the society and the leaders. And this is Mahaprabhu, he went to... Coming back from Vrindavan, Rupa and Sanat and Prakasananda Saraswati, the leader of the sannyasis in India, preaching to them, Mahaprabhu. So, but interestingly, coming back to Vrindavan, that when he took sannyas, again, this desire to go to Vrindavan, it erupted. When he took sannyas, can you imagine in ISKCON our sannyasis, everybody knows about it, it's no surprise. We see Chaitanya Bhatta, kotodin apna sannyas, when will you take sannyas? I think ISKCON, Attapur, Hyderabad, produced many sannyasis. Some even from the Grihastha ashram. But we know that there's a list, and you can see every year is published who's on the waiting list for sannyas, and so we know, it's no surprise. Mahaprabhu, one day he's taking prasadam from the hand of Vishnupriya. She's cooking, he's taking the prasadam. Next day he's a sannyasi. One day he's taking for lunch, and Vishnupriya is cooking. Next day he's in saffron dress, shaved head sannyasi. So you could imagine that the pastime of Mahaprabhu's sannyas, very powerful event. Very powerful event. He goes in the middle he leaves that night. He travels to Katwa, next day he's there. Where is that sannyasi Keshav Bhari? First time meeting where at ashram, and then he takes sannyas that day. So after Mahaprabhu's sannyas, he was overwhelmed. He was affected, you could say. The love of God, it erupted. He became wandering around aimlessly. Radha Desh, wandering around. For Kaviraj Goswami says 3 days, Vrindavan Das Thakur says 10 days. Wandering around, not knowing where he is, where's daytime, nighttime, what direction. He's like a madman taking sannyas. So at that time he's wandering around, he says, Mahaprabhu says, Shaibesh koilo ebe Vrindavan giya, Krishna nisheban kodi nibrite boshia. Shaibesh koilo, I've accepted the dress of a sannyasi. Shaibesh koilo ebe Vrindavan giya. Now I can go to Vrindavan without any restriction. Last night I was sharing with Pranat. I was saying, well, we were practicing mandolin at 10 o'clock last night. And I said, Pranat, if you stay a brahmachari, you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. Brahmachari life means you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. The household life, not possible. It's not possible. You have to, so many things to do. So Mahaprabhu is sannyas. Now nothing is, no obligation. I'll go to Vrindavan. I'll go to Vrindavan. Krishna nisheban kodi nibrite boshia, and worship Krishna in a secluded place. So it's the same, there's a theme, it's like a theme, it's like an underlying desire Mahaprabhu has to go to Vrindavan. He has that desire all the time, but it's not fulfilled. In a way it's not fulfilled, because it's fulfilled just by meditating on Vrindavan. You're in Vrindavan. Advaita Acharya said that wherever you are is Vrindavan. But still this desire, what's the conclusion? Conclusion is that we can always have a desire to go to Vrindavan. We may not be able to go to Vrindavan, but always have a desire to go to Vrindavan. That's acceptable. This is Mahaprabhu's. Just by thinking of Vrindavan, we can go to Vrindavan. Sharva tirtha brahmaya taitika jahapai navadip sharane shailab shastragai. Sharva tirtha brahmaya. If you go to all of the holy places, Sarva tirtha brahmaya taitika, the pilgrim, jahapai, what he gets. Navadip sharane. Navadip sharane, remembering Navadip. Shailab shastragai. The scriptures declare that just by remembering Navadip, you get the results of visiting all holy places. Just by remembering Navadip. So in this way, Mahaprabhu is always thinking of Vrindavan, he's always meditating on Vrindavan. So with him having taken sannyas, he's wandering around, he's thinking, I'll go to Vrindavan, actually, having taken sannyas. Now, what to do? What's the next thing on my to-do list? I'm saying sannyas. Now I'll go to Vrindavan and stay there in a secluded place, worship Krishna. Is a top number priority on my list. So we can have that desire as our top number desire. Worship Krishna in Vrindavan. So with him at that time, after taking sannyas, there were 3 devotees. There was Mukunda Datta from Pundarik Dham, Mukunda from Chottagram, Mukunda Datta, and Acharya Ratna from Navadip, and Nityananda Prabhu. But because Mahaprabhu was in such a state of emotional ecstasy, having taken sannyas, they weren't actually, Mahaprabhu wasn't really aware of who was with him or where he was. So they weren't really traveling with him like, hey, let's go. They were just nearby, just observing, wondering what's going to happen. And then Nityananda Prabhu, he came in front of Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu says, oh, Sripad, Sripad kohe. He says, Mahaprabhu says that, oh, you're here, Nityananda, you're here. Where are you going? Where are we going? Prabhu kohe. Nityananda Prabhu says, Prabhu kohe, Sripad. Prabhu kohe. No, actually, it's, yeah. First of all, Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu kohe. Mahaprabhu says to Nityananda, Prabhu kohe, Sripad, Tomar, kota ke gamon. Sripad, Tomar, kota, where are you going? Sripad kohe. Nityananda Prabhu replies, Tomar shange jabo Vrindavan. Tomar shange jabo Vrindavan. It's very interesting that Nityananda Prabhu says that. Tomar shange jabo Vrindavan. Because actually, he's in a way, yes, he's also going to go to Vrindavan. Although they never actually went to Vrindavan together. Mahaprabhu went alone. He didn't go with Nityananda Prabhu. But you could say, poetically speaking, I'm going with you to Vrindavan, poetically. But actually Nityananda Prabhu had a whole different plan. And he told the cowherd boys on the banks of the Ganga, when you see the sannyasi who comes, the Gauranga with the golden limbs, and he's in love of God, and he asks you, where is the Vrindavan, where is the Jamuna? You point him in the direction of the Ganga. So Nityananda Prabhu, he arranged everything, very proactive. He's actually taking control of the situation and arranging everything. He said to Acharya Ratna, you go to Shantipur, you tell Advaita Acharya that I'm bringing Mahaprabhu, and get everything ready, and then you go to Navadip and you tell Sachi Devi and all the devotees, you tell them to come to Shantipur. And in this way, Nityananda Prabhu was concerned for the pain of the residents of Vrindavan, residents of Navadip, how much suffering they were experiencing, how much pain. Many didn't even know that Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas. This was, he left in the night, he went to Katwa, next day he took sannyas, the next day, so 2 days. Many, they didn't even know. They came to Sachi Devi's place, where is Nimai? They had no news, they didn't know. So how all of a sudden, every day they're performing Shankirtan with Mahaprabhu. They're dancing, they were seeing Nitai Gaur dancing every evening, and they're always associating, every day they're seeing Navadip Chandra, and they're doing, and then he's gone. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? It's like we come to the temple in the morning, open it, and the Nityananda and Mahaprabhu have gone. How could we, well, what would we do? Just carry on? Everything's as usual? No. It'd be complete devastation. So like that, all the Navadip devotees, without Mahaprabhu, He's the center of everything. He's everything. They're there. They take birth for associating with him. They appeared. Gaudange Shangi Gane Nitashidha Korimane. They're all eternal associates. They appeared just to associate with him. He's gone. So Nityananda Prabhu, he's concerned. So therefore, at least let there be a period of, you could say a period of association, and then it'll be easier for the devotees in Navadip to allow Mahaprabhu to go. So we're going to Shommelon, a festival. They all come together. They're all living together in close quarters. Isn't it wonderful? In the temple, life is like festival every day. You're living together, close quarters. But sometimes it becomes a festival. You go some parikrama, some yatra, and you're all living together in the same building. You take prasadam together, and then you have the programs together. You go on parikram together. It's very nice. It's not like the usual day where you have your different usual activities, housework and different things every day going on. But you go to a festival, everything's stopped and you're just engaging every day, taking prasadam, programs. So like that, they all came. Advaita Acharya, he was hosting everybody, all of the residents of Navadip, hosting them all, prasadam, accommodation, and the residents of Shantipur also, they were coming. And Mahaprabhu was in the kirtan in the evening, and those kirtans were very special because the devotees, they didn't know. Suddenly Mahaprabhu will leave. They didn't know where or what, or they didn't know. So at least we can enjoy kirtan now. And so those kirtans were very special. Kirtan, Kodite Prabhu, Sharva Bhab, Uday, Stamba, Kampa, Pulagasru, Gadgara, Pralai. Kaviraj Goswami describes those kirtans. Kirtan, Kodite Prabhu, Sharva Bhab, Uday. All of the emotions were erupting. Stamba, Kampa, Pulakasru, Gadgara, Pralai. Stamba, like a pillar. You would be stunned. In the kirtan, he would be stunned like a pillar, stamba. Kampa, his body would be quivering like a leaf in the autumn breeze. His stamba, kampa. Pulakasru, his hair would stand on end, it would erupt. Pulakasru, like a ripe jackfruit. Like a ripe jackfruit. Last few weeks in Mayapur, we've been eating tons of jackfruit. Every day. Or you can, the fragrance of jackfruit everywhere, and kartal, there's every day a pile of kartal. So like a jackfruit, the body is erupting. Gadgadai, choking up, pralai. Pralai means devastation. What is this? What does devastation look like in a kirtan? Who knows? But Mahaprabhu, devastation in there. Stamba, kampa, pulakastra, gadgada, pralai. And those kirtans, the devotees wrote. And then Mahaprabhu, he began his journey to Jagannath Puri on the request of Sachi Devi. That Puri, you want to go to Vrindavan? Yeah, Vrindavan. You want to go to Vrindavan? I wasn't prepared for that response. You want to go to Vrindavan? So these two things will be fulfilled because Jagannath and Krishna is the same. And so when Mahaprabhu in Puri, he would see Lord Jagannath, he would be seeing Bangshi Dari. He was in the mood of Vrindavan in Jagannath Puri, Mahaprabhu. And we see ultimately that Mahaprabhu, he went to Vrindavan, but he didn't remain in Vrindavan. In fact, it was too intense. It described that his prema, already Mahaprabhu, Mahaprem, Mahabhav, right, is symptoms of constantly shedding tears of love of God, constantly in the mood of separation, constantly, Mahaprabhu. And when he was going to Vrindavan on the road to Mathura, those emotions, they multiplied 1,000 times. And then in the forest of Vrindavan, those emotions, they multiplied 10,000 times. Can you imagine? Mahaprabhu in Vrindavan. And so after some time, Balabhadracharya, he brought Mahaprabhu out of Vrindavan because it was too complex, it was too extreme. Mahaprabhu's love of God was, so he didn't actually remain in Vrindavan a very long time. But in Jagannath Puri, where Mahaprabhu spent 18 years, he was always in the mood of being in Vrindavan. So coming back to taking sannyas and then going to Vrindavan, going to Jagannath Puri, as Sachi Devi said, that Tamra Shab Paro Gamon Agamon Ganga Shnane O Habitar Agamon, you'll all be able to go. You can walk. They would walk from Navadip, from Gaudadesh to Utkal, Orisha, Oriya Desh. They would walk. It would take a month. And they would, every year, the devotees from Navadip would go to Jagannath Puri. They would walk, headed by Shivananda Sen. He was the tour guide, arranging accommodation, arranging all of the various taxes that had to be paid at the toll gates. Shivananda Sen, we'll be discussing. There's actually a war between Orissa and Bengal. They're at war, actually. So the Mahaprabhu, he arrived in Jagannath Puri, and then although we're hearing that he's desiring to go to Vrindavan, and now he's come to Jagannath Puri, but he didn't stay in Jagannath Puri. After less than 5 weeks, he delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and then he left Puri to tour South India for preaching Krishna consciousness. Now he said at that time, Prataparudra Raj, he wasn't there, but Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was there. And Ramananda Roy also wasn't there. And Mahaprabhu, he hadn't actually settled into Puri, he just arrived. And he was hosted by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And then after a short time, he departed Jagannath Puri to preach in South India on the plea of searching out Vishwarup. So before we're hearing that he wants just to go to Vrindavan, but now we're hearing that he wants to search out Vishwarup, who took sannyas. Vishwarup sannyas is very glorious. Boro Dukkapai Vishwarup Bhagavan Na Shune Abhishta Krishna Chandra Akyan. He was in so much pain. Dukkha Boro Pai Vishwarup Bhagavan Na Shune Krishna Chandra Abhishta Krishna Chandra Akyan. Not hearing Abhishta, his beloved Krishna Chandra glorification, Nashune, Boru Dukkapai Vishwarup Bhagavan. He was feeling so much pain. In Navadip, there was so much non-devotional activities going on. And it was paining Vishwarup. Dukhe Vishwarup Prabhu, Mone Mone Gone, Na Dekhibo Log Muk Chole Jai Bone. In great pain, Vishwarup is thinking, Na Dekhibo Log Muk. I do not want to see the faces of all of the materialistic people. Na Dekhibo Log Muk Chole Jai Bone. I will go to the forest. And suddenly Vishwarup took sannyas. And then after that, Mahaprabhu, he became the ideal son, in order to relieve Jagannath Mishra of the pain of his son taking sannyas. Of course, the residents of Navadip were explaining to Jagannath Mishra that you're so fortunate that if someone in the family takes sannyas, then thousands of ancestors are delivered. If someone in the family takes sannyas, thousands of his ancestors are delivered. So, and Mahaprabhu, having taken sannyas, arrived in Puri, then he said that I want to search out Vishwarup, isn't it? He had attachment for Vishwarup. Search out Vishwarup. Of course, the actual purpose was to preach Krishna consciousness in South India. Here we are at the place. Mahaprabhu traveled, beginning in Kumarstan, Jari Dekha Tarikaha Krishna Upadesh Amaragai Guru Hal Tare Desh, preaching one place after another. Kaviraj Goswami says he gave the same instruction in every place. Jari Dekha Tarikaha, not just to the common Brahmin, to every Brahmin. He stayed in the houses of the Brahmins, took prasadam, every place. He instructed them to preach Krishna consciousness. And then after 2 years, Mahaprabhu returned to Puri, and the devotees from Navadip, they came, and Mahaprabhu performed Rath Yatra with the devotees from Navadip, and then again he's beginning to mention, at that time Ramananda Roy had come, Prataparudra Maharaj, other Mahaprabhu's associates, Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati. They'd all, after the 2-year South Indian tour, then Mahaprabhu returned to Puri, then all of his key associates, they all came. Haridas Thakur, he came and remained. And so Mahaprabhu remained for 2 years, but he was at that time also requesting again and again to go to Vrindavan. But Ramananda Roy, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, even the king, they were not inclined to give Mahaprabhu permission. So even though he was the Supreme Lord, completely independent, but still he wouldn't do anything without the agreement of the dear devotees. He wouldn't do anything that would upset them. Isn't that amazing? That how much he was concerned about maintaining the relationship. He wouldn't just say, forget you guys, I do what I want. No, it was very important to him. He felt great obligation to the consideration of his dear devotees. So he wasn't going to Vrindavan. And then after 2 years, they were giving various excuses. They were saying, oh, now after the first Rath Yatra, the devotees in Navadip, they went back. And then Mahaprabhu said, I'll go to Vrindavan. And then they said, no, now is coming the winter time. It'll be cold. Better you wait after winter. And then winter finished. And then Mahaprabhu again, I'll go to Vrindavan. No, it's coming the Dol Yatra, means Gaur-Purnima. The devotees again will come from Bengal. You wait. Oh, Mahaprabhu, not allowed. And then there's the Chaturmasya. No, you cannot go now. Oh. And then in this way for 2 years, there were so many excuses they were giving. And then Mahaprabhu, he approached Ramananda Roy and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and he said to them that, Bahut utkanta amar, jaite Vrindavan, bahut utkanta, such a strong desire I have, jaite Vrindavan, bahut utkanta more, jaite Vrindavan, tomar hate due bachor na koilu gamon. But because of your restriction, tomar hate, you are preventing me. Dui bachor na koilu gamon. For 2 years, I'm not able to begin that journey. So eventually, the Ramananda Roy and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, they felt that it was inappropriate that Mahaprabhu had bahut utkanta, such a strong desire to go to Vrindavan. So they gave permission on the Vijay Dasami day. Mahaprabhu, he departed for Vrindavan. But as we'll see, actually, he didn't make it to Vrindavan. He didn't make it. There were such crowds following him from Jagannath Puri, all the devotees. They're all the Puri, the Bhaktas and the Navadip Bhaktas, they're all joining him. Everyone. Harirash Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu, everyone. Gadadhar Pandit also, and then Mahaprabhu said, no, you can't come. At Kathak, you can't come. Oh, I'm not going. Oh, well, I'm going, I have my own plan. I'm going to Navadip, see Sachi Devi. I'm not going with you. It's like Gadadhar Pandit. Mahaprabhu said, you stop this. You go back. You're breaking my principles. Tota Gopina Seva. You go back. So Gadadhar Pandit. And then gradually, as Mahaprabhu, of course, his big entourage. And the king of Orissa, because Mahaprabhu, the Puri Dham, the city of Puri was Mahaprabhu's property. Mahaprabhu's property. The king of Puri was Mahaprabhu's sold-out bhakta, and Mahaprabhu, he took over the temple. For Gundicha Marjana, Mahaprabhu, he coordinated a whole program. Whole program is all under Mahaprabhu's arrangement. And Rath Yatra, Mahaprabhu is everything. Mahaprabhu is in Puri. How he is facilitated by the king. How he's facilitated, and all of his associates. So the first time they're visiting, and Gopinathacharya, he announces to the king, Gauda hoite Vaishna Pashyachin Dui Shata Mahaprabhu Bhakta Shab Mahabhagavata. 200 devotees have come from Gaudadesh, and they're waiting on the banks of Narendra Sarobar. Are we going this year? Are we going? Yeah. Right? Yeah. I already mentioned last time I was here, they were already meditating. And on Narendra Sarobar, that place we stayed last time is just a few minutes walk from Narendra Sarobar. Can take bath in Narendra Sarobar. So all the Bengali devotees, they're waiting on the banks of the Narendra Sarobar, and they're waiting, and The king immediately, oh yes, we will arrange all the accommodation. The king. And they stayed for 4 months. And all of his, every day the prasadam. Arrange accommodation for all of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu Bhakta Shah, Mahabhagavata, let me serve the devotees of Mahaprabhu, king of Puri. Arranging accommodation, arranging the prasadam. Sometimes in Puri the devotees would cook and invite Mahaprabhu sometimes. And other times he would taking the Jagannath prasadam every day. Mahaprabhu. Sometimes Jagadananda would cook. Sometimes Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya would cook. But Mahaprabhu, other times Jagannath prasadam every day. And the Jagannath temple and Krishna Kotha, Mahaprabhu and Jagannath Puri. So they're all very happy. They didn't want Mahaprabhu to leave, but eventually they gave permission. So many were journeying with him. So the king, he's arranging, he makes a declaration to his ministers that in every village that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stays, you should construct 5 new residential quarters and 2 rooms full of the bhoga. Can you imagine? How the king was so much taken by Mahaprabhu that he's sending the orders. He's the king of the state. Wherever he goes, before he arrives, there's 5 rooms built for accommodation and 2 rooms, storehouse with all of the ingredients for whatever they require. And on the head of the servant carriers, every day the king is sending, where Mahaprabhu is gradually going, leaving Puri. First the Katak and then Ramuna. Every day the king is sending carriers, servant carriers with the Jagannath Prasadam on their head. From Jagannath Puri, they're going every day. And eventually Mahaprabhu had gone so far that it became impractical. They couldn't. Imagine. And he said that wherever he crosses the river, you build new boats. Wherever he crosses the river, have all new boats ready, built. And make a stamba there, and I will go and take my bath at that place. This is the king of Puri. How much? So the entourage, a huge entourage. And then eventually Mahaprabhu, he came to Bengal, and then more people joining. And by the time he reached Ramkeli, which is the capital of Bengal, there was such a crowd that the Nawab Hussain Shah, the emperor of Bengal, Nawab Hussain, he thought that this was a revolution. They're coming a huge crowd, thousands and thousands of people. He was worried that this is a revolution. And he sent his spies. And anyway, that's another story I think we discussed here in the past, Mahaprabhu's Ramkeli Kirtan. But before that, today we'll discuss a very interesting incident which will bring us to the topic of discussing about the anniversary of temple opening here. There's an introduction so far. Anniversary of temple, we'll discuss a little about that. So Mahaprabhu, he reached the border of Orissa and Bengal. Now, at that time, actually, there was a war between Orissa and Bengal. They were at war. Our respected scholars of the Bhagavat, Vaishnav, Shobha, how do you find when you get the history lesson of India from the foreigner in the class? How do you find that? So Bengal and Orissa were at war. In fact, if you go to Ramkeli, and you see the palace, the ruins of the Nawab's kingdom, they're still there in Malda, Ramkeli. Actually, it's Ramkeli, that place. ISKCON, we have our center there, our property there now. And you'll see that there's the palace of the Nawab, and on the gardens, in the courtyard, you'll see the pillars of temples of Orissa. Beautiful Orissan temple columns, hand-carved. You'll see them lying on the
garden in the courtyard of the Nawab Hussain Shah, that having conquered temples in Orissa, and he would destroy the temple and he would bring the pillars back as a trophy of his victory. And you can see all these pillars of Orissan temples lying in the courtyard on the grounds when you go and visit there. There was a war between Bengal and Orissa. Bengal, Mahaprabhu appeared that Bengal was conquered by the Mughals. It wasn't an independent state. Orissa was the Hindu king. Other states, Rajasthan, other places, but many places are conquered by the Mughals. Bengal under the Mughal government, the foreign invaders. Mahaprabhu appeared at that time. It's not a big concern for him. Ahoitikiya pratiyata. Whatever the political circumstance, it does not interfere with the spreading of Krishna consciousness. Mahaprabhu didn't address that. It wasn't a concern. He appeared at that place. But anyway, there was the problem at the border. There was a local Mughal king, and he was like a what do you call that? Like a tribal king. He had control of the whole area there, and had many soldiers. And he would plunder anyone crossing the river at that place. He would plunder, and no one would cross the river. So Mahaprabhu, he reached the border of Orissa, and at that river, he was camped there. And Prataparudra Maharaj, he sent secretaries, ministers, in fact, two, the Harish Chanda and Makaraj, two prominent ministers were accompanying Mahaprabhu. And then another secretary came, and he said, wait here, and we'll have to negotiate with this king about safely, in order to be able to, it was a huge entourage, in order to safely cross the river and enter into Bengal, otherwise we'll be attacked. So they're remaining there. Now, this king, he was aware that a huge assembly had come to the border and they were waiting there, so he sent his spy. He sent his spy to go into the camp there and get all the information, find out what is their power, their military, their weapons. He sent a spy. So the spy, he went and he saw everything, and then he came back. And he begins to speak about what he saw to the king. Assembly of purified Vaishnavas, would you be interested to hear what he saw? It's very interesting. Very interesting what he saw. Ek sannyasi ailo Jagannath hoite, onek siddha purush hoy taha shohite. Ek sannyasi ailo Jagannath, one sannyasi has come from Jagannath Puri. Onek siddha purush hoy taha shohite. So many siddha purush are with him. Nirantor, Kahe, Shabai, Krishna Sankirtan. Nirantor, without cessation. Shabai, Kahe, Krishna Sankirtan. They're all chanting the name of Krishna without cessation. Shabai, Hashe, Nache, Gai, Koraya, Krandane. They're all laughing, they're dancing, they're singing and crying. Loka, Loka, Lok, Aishe, Taha, Deki, Bade. Hundreds of thousands of people, loka, aishe, tahadeki bade, to see him. Hundreds of thousands of people come to see him. Tade, deki, punarapi, jaite, nare, gore. Now seeing him. Jaite, nare, gore, punarapi, they cannot return home. They forget, where is my house? They come, they see Mahaprabhu in the kirtan, and it's such a overwhelming experience that they forget, where's my body kotai, I forgot. You imagine, you come to the kirtan and you're saying, wow, I'm going to go home, but I forgot where home was. Some of them were married, and they were thinking, yeah, I know I got married, but which one of those ladies is my wife? Punarapi, jaite, gore, nahi, they cannot return home. They're completely just seeing him in the kirtan. This is Mahaprabhu's kirtan style, Mahaprabhu's preaching style. It's so overwhelming. They're seeing him performing the kirtan. It has such an effect. Shai Shab, all of the people who come and see, Shai Shab Lok, Hoy, baul e prai. Baul, baul. You know what is baul? B-A-U-L, baul. Baul. Thakur Bhaktivinoda, he writes some songs that, by baul. He sang baul. Baul means a madman. A madman. Actually, there's a sampradaya in Bengal, the baul sampradaya. You see on the train sometimes, play harmonium and sing the Deshapriya Gan. They're singing the baul. And there's a bow, they're like crazy, like a bow or somebody. So he's saying that this is an ancient word. She shablo koi baule prai. They become like madmen, all of the people who come to see. Krishna kohi nache kande godagiri jai. Krishna kohi nache, they chant Hare Krishna, they dance, they cry. Godagiri jai, they roll on the ground. Kohite kota nahe. Dekile shejani. In fact, he's saying that you cannot understand just by hearing me describe it. Kohibar kota nahe or dekile shejani. You have to see for yourself to actually understand the extent of this event. Taha prababe tobe ishar korimane. Taha prababe tobe ishar kori. I think he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I think he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then, hearing this, this Jabon king, his mind changed. His mind changed. He was a very treacherous person and a drunkard, and he would plunder and terrorize the Hindus on the path. But hearing this, his mind changed, and he sent his secretary to discuss with the representative of the Orissa government to make some negotiation. He sent his secretary. So the secretary came. The secretary came into the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's called a Bishash. Secretary is called a Bishash, a trusted person. Bishash, Aisha, Prabhu, Charan, Bondilo. The secretary came and he paid obeisances at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna, Krishna kahe, preme, baul, hoilo. And he became overwhelmed with love of Godhead. Just by coming in front of Mahaprabhu at that time. And then he began explaining that the king, he wants to have your association, and then they were negotiating, yes, he can come, but don't bring weapons. And then as that king was coming, and from a distance, he could see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the king was approaching from a distance. Dur hoite Prabhu deki, bhumite poriya, dur hoite, seeing Mahaprabhu from a distance. Deki, bhumite poriya, he fell down on the ground. Bhumite poriya. Dandavat, kobe asra, pulakita hoya, and he became overwhelmed with the ecstatic symptoms of love of God. They're just falling down on the ground. Tears came to his eyes and he became ecstatic with love of Godhead. So this is Mahaprabhu as he was journeying to Vrindavan. Just that these are like consequential events. Consequential events. He's going. So he wanted to go to Bengal because he wanted to associate with Ma Ganga and the devotees there. Golde deshe hoy mor dui shamasrai, janani janabi e dui doyamoy. I want to go to Bengal, take the Bengali devotees with me to just a consequential on that thing. It delivers the. So in this way, we were reflecting on, yesterday I'm staying in the apartment there, and when we come to the temple here, we walk through the Punya Tirthastan, the holy place of the kitchen, and the huge pots. And yesterday I saw there were the samba, huge, and they were pouring, I'd never seen such a thing, they were pouring water into the water was flowing in like a waterfall. Water was pouring into the pot. The pot was already full. And it was hose. And the hot water, the Prabhu said, telling me we heated here and they were pouring in, but it wasn't making any effect to the samba. There was so much samba. Just like Krishna says in second chapter, Apuryamanam achala pratistam samudram apa pravishanti yadvat. That the sea is so deep that even so many rivers are pouring into the sea that it doesn't affect. Is it? Apuryamanam, it doesn't overflow. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam shamudram apa pravishanti. Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve shashamtim apnoti nakamakami. In the same way, a deep devotee, even though so many material desires will come into the heart because we're in a material environment, but he's not overwhelmed because he's deep in Krishna consciousness. So I was thinking that there's so much samba. There's a pouring and pouring, but it's not overflowing. And there's a distributing. And each pot has a different name. It's like yesterday we're hearing the millions of cows and they have a different name and Krishna calls them by their name and they move. So in the kitchen, each pot has a different name. There's Hanuman pot, there's Gauranga pot, there's... Now, 5 years ago, that was just an empty block. It was just an empty block of land. And now look, that place is a purified, it's a tirthasthana. There's so much Bhagavad Bhakti, there's so much prasadam being cooked in that place. It's become the spiritual world. It's become non-different from the spiritual world. The activities there are the activities in the spiritual world. And this temple, before it was a empty block or whatever. And now look, it's the spiritual world. We're discussing Krishna Katha, dancing. We're absorbed. We're like in the spiritual world. Just see, what an amazing thing. Oh, credit to the devotees who've built this temple. Such a credit. And where's our Prabhu? We met him yesterday. Baule Prai. That Prabhu, what's his name? Prabhu. He stands there with big lakhs of rupees. Baule Prai. He become a madman. He's become a madman. And there's Chaitanya Leela, here we're seeing. They come, they see the dancing. Why this happens? Because they see the dancing. The street Sankirtan, this is why this is happening. People are affected, they become mad. This foreign person here is speaking all this, quoting this, they don't know if he's Bengali or Australian. Become mad. The Sankirtan, this chanting of the holy name. It's so powerful. N-H Oshad, Maya Nadi N-H Oshad. Maya nadi baro nashi baro lage. I bought the medicine. N-H Oshad. Maya nashi baro lage, which destroys illusion. N-H Oshad. I bought the medicine. Maya nashi baro lage, which destroys illusion. Hari nama mahamantra lao tumi mage. This chanting Hare Krishna destroys the Maya. It goes away. It is cleared away like the fog. And you see the reality. Nitya Krishna das. And we have a chance now to chant Hare Krishna, to awaken love for Krishna. I can go back to Krishna. You understand. You change your life. They're chanting the holy name. What an effect it has. What a powerful mantra. That anybody, we're hearing, all of the people come there, and there's no qualification. The medicine is so powerful that you don't need to know any way you take it. Bahu nam namakari bahuda nijish. Tatrapita niyamata smarane na kalaha. It doesn't matter how you take it. Tatrapita niyamata smaranena. Anytime, any place, any consideration. The special power of the Mahamantra. So for this reason, it's for bringing, chanting Hare Krishna. It's a chanting of the holy name. This is the essential reason, the essential cause. This is the Sankirtan movement. This is Mahaprabhu, he's come to Name Prachar. And the effect of preaching the holy name is that there's revolution in the lives, in the hearts of everybody. Everyone is inundated, everyone is affected, everyone becomes purified, everyone can achieve perfection of life. And this is what this temple is for, based on spreading the holy name, chanting and distributing the holy name, chanting on the street, chanting in the temple, distributing the books, the preaching activities. It will just grow and grow and grow. All we have to do is connect ourselves. All we have to do is attach ourselves. Well, we have to just become a part a part of the mechanics of the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just play your role in the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We're not doing it. We're just simply serving, and the holy name is delivering the whole of the society. Any questions on this morning's topics about Mahaprabhu's desire to go to Vrindavan? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful pastimes sharing, Prabhuji, with us. So, as you quoted earlier, Prabhuji, Kiba mantra dila gosai, kiba tarabal, japite japite hoi lapagal. So, it is nearly impossible to even imagine how the power of the holy name is there. So, if you can share some tips on chanting the holy name attentively, as we know that we can only give what we have in our life. So how we chant the holy name affectionately and then share with others also.
Well, a couple of things there. One thing is that there's japa and sankirtan. So there's two types of chanting, and we have to cultivate both styles of chanting. The sankirtan, we have to participate in the sankirtan. Mahaprabhu was ordered. Actually, the both things Mahaprabhu received. He says that Murka tumi tomar nahika bairanta Krishna nam japa shada. Hey mantra sha, you chant the holy name japa. And also he was ordered at the same time, nache gao bhakta shange koro sankirtan. Dance, nache gao, sing bhakta shange with the devotees koro sankirtan. So both were given at Mahaprabhu's initiation time. Both were given. Chant japa and chant in the sankirtan. So we have to do both. And this is the medicine. So what to say? When you're alone, then chant japa. And when you're with the devotees, then chant sankirtan. As much as possible. In the morning, it's good to chant japa early in the morning, first thing in the morning, chant japa. Those rounds first thing in the morning when you wake up and get up, you begin chanting at that time. You can set the default settings for the whole day. The settings in the phone, you set stays like that the whole day. So you get to develop you experience the taste. You develop, you chant with attention in the morning, and then it's like the primer for the consciousness for the whole day. So try not to avoid attentive chanting in the morning, and as much as possible, chanting in the morning, the effect will be more. And then don't miss the opportunity for joining in the sankirtan and dance. And these activities, this attitude, this will help you develop the nam ruchi. Golokeda prema dhan harinama sankirtan. And understand the sentiment and the mood of the attitude of the great Vaishnavas. Narottam Das Thakur, he sings that Golokeda prema dhan harinama sankirtan roti na janmilo kenetai. Why I didn't awaken roti na janmilo? Why I didn't awaken a taste for the holy name? So have desire to awaken a taste, attachment to the holy name. Ultimately, when this body begins to fall apart, then ultimately that is all we'll have to take shelter of. The holy name. So it's going to be Ami bina bondhu aro ke ache tomar. Mahaprabhu has come as our friend. He's given us this great treasure. So appreciate and chant with appreciation and with attention. Something else this morning?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, what do we learn from Mahaprabhu going to Vrindavan, that pastime? I mean, what lesson we should learn? What we should take it from? What will be the takeaway from that? The whole pastime.
Well, I said many things while we were describing, many things that are relevant for us, many learning things. So all the things I said in the class, which we're not going to go through again. So that's it. All those things we learn. Ultimately, we're discussing that Mahaprabhu's freely giving Krishna consciousness through the holy name is available for everybody. And we should become part of the mission, to take the medicine and distribute. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Krishna Janmashtami Mahamahotsav ki jai.
His Grace Atul Krishna Prabhu ki jai.